All right. Well, it is 11 on the dot, and so I will introduce us, and we'll go ahead and get started. And a couple people will probably still be coming in, which is totally fine. Hopefully, you can get your coffee, and while I'm doing this intro, and then Elliot will get us going. But we are so excited for our final installment of our Office 365 series. So if you've been with us before and heard any of our other webinars that we'll kind of talk about, thank y'all for sticking with us through all four. And if this is your first time, welcome. We're so glad that you're here. We do have them all of our three previous ones recorded. So we will send out the link for that as well, if you'd like to check those out. But I am Ellie Snyder, the Director of Marketing Automation here at Enable, and we love helping churches with their technology. It is our passion and our purpose and what we love to do. So we hope that today we get to help you guys out and show you some tools that will be helpful in your ministry, specifically looking at Office 365. So a lot of people start their knowledge of Office 365 thinking it's just email, calendar, maybe you have the Outlook app, and maybe you have some contacts in there. But it can do so much more than that. So we are going to be going a little deeper today, and Elliot will walk us through some of those features that are included. A few items before you begin: you can pause and rewind the webinar at any point. Just use the icons in the bottom left of your screen. If you joined anonymously, please put your name in the Q&A for us to know that you were here. And if you have any questions during the presentation, just write those in the Q&A box to the right side of your screen. We will get to as many as we can at the very end. So if we don't get to your question, we plan to post all of those on our recap page, along with the recording of the webinar that you will get in an email after this. So that way you can access it later, pass it along to friends and coworkers who maybe couldn't attend today. So just to get us started, I'm going to introduce our speaker, Elliot Wood. He is our Director of Consulting here at Enable, and he has been with us since 2004. So he has a great deal of knowledge and experience dealing with churches. He's seen a lot and dealt with a lot of issues that you guys, not only issues, but just situations that you guys are in. So I'm excited for y'all to hear from him. And yeah, you can learn a little bit more about him, and that's the face of who is talking today. So Elliot, I will let you take it from here.
There we go. I clicked my unmute button and it didn't take the first time. So can you hear me now?
We got you.
Yes. Great. Awesome. Well, welcome everyone. I'm so excited to get to share with you some today. I wanted to start real quick with just a recap. As Ellie mentioned, this is the fourth in a series. And in previous webinars, some of my colleagues here at Enable have covered some of the other tools in the Office 365 ecosystem. And it really is an ecosystem. And they've covered OneDrive and SharePoint and Teams and Outlook and Planner and calendars and OneNote, which is really my favorite of all the 365 apps, FindTime, and a bunch of other different parts of the platform. Today we're going to focus on a few of the more kind of extra things that you may not have heard of, may not be familiar with. Including Forms and Stream, which are a little bit more accessible and easy to use, and then some of the more advanced tools that may have some additional costs and things like Flow and Sway and PowerBI. But I just wanted to jump back to a screen here. If you were to log into your Office 365 portal and see all of the different tools that you have available to you, and my screen here has a lot of things that may not be available to everyone because I'm in it as administrator. I have a lot of licensing that not everybody would have. But as you can see, these are a lot of applications that are available in this ecosystem to a variety to solve a variety of problems. And so one of the things I just find often is that people have a need for something. And they go looking for it somewhere and don't realize that they already have it in the Office 365 package or in your church management software. So we're going to cover a few things today, but take advantage, if you're one of our clients, take advantage of your strategy consultant and your team here at Enable to help you think through what tools you already have available to you. And we'll continue to do webinars every month on a variety of topics to try and keep those things in front of you. So by way of introduction, I mentioned we're going to cover forms and stream and sway and Power BI and flow today. I'm going to try and give you a quick demo. It's a flyby. We're not going to get deep into all of the features and functions, but I'm going to try and kind of give you a little bit of a scenario based introduction of, how might a church use these tools to solve certain problems or to answer certain scenarios. So that's certainly not meant to be extensive. But one other thing I'll note is in this ecosystem of Microsoft Office 365, Teams is becoming a hub of almost all the tools. And as Microsoft announced last week at their Big Ignite conference, or a couple of weeks ago at the Big Ignite conference, which is where they make all of their big annual announcements, there's a lot of new features, a lot of new integration, a lot more seamlessness coming, and a lot of that being driven by Teams. So in the next year or two, I think we're going to see Teams becoming sort of the centerpiece of the Office 365 tool set. And for a lot of people, you may be able to actually spend most of your day in Teams and not even going to separate apps to access these platforms. So that's going to be an interesting and new development. So the first scenario I'm going to kind of hit is using forms. And the scenario I've set up is a really simple one. We've got a staff meeting coming up, and I need a quick response on what people want for lunch. So before I get into that scenario, Forms is really just an easy and accessible survey platform. It's a questionnaire. It's easy to set up. You'll see how easy it is to set up in just a minute. I see a lot of churches, when I go around helping churches think about what kind of church management software they need, I see a lot of different platforms that people are using, whether it's Woohoo Forms or JotForm or Google Forms or SurveyMonkey. They're paying a monthly fee for a lot of these things. And if you've got Office 365, you've already got for free forms built in. You don't have to pay extra for it. Now, here's a question you might ask is, when do I use forms instead of the form builder that might be built into my church management software? And I would say if your church management software has a form builder and you need that data persistently available across your membership database, you want to be tracking the answers to those questions that someone gives against their membership record in your church management system, you need to use the church management system's form builder. Otherwise, you're going to create a data silo in a different form. But a great time to use a Microsoft form is, for kind of these simple questions of, who's coming to lunch on Friday, and what are you ordering? And I don't really need to ever refer back to that and see who was at my Friday staff meeting. It might be to get some simple feedback on things going on. Maybe I've got a feedback request. Hey, can you guys tell me what you liked and didn't like about our Christmas party or our Christmas service? Some of those kind of survey things. But you would always use your church management software for registration for events that you're going to track attendance and engagement on, maybe medical condition forms that you're attaching to a student ministry participant or something like that. So let me jump over to forms. So as you know, hopefully by now, you can get to any Microsoft application by clicking on your little launcher. Once you log into Microsoft at login.microsoftonline.com, you can click the little launcher. It looks like a waffle up in the left hand, and see what apps you have available to you. I've already gone to Forms and I've got it on a tab here. So if I wanted to create a new form, I can just click on New Form. I can also create a quiz. So it's a great opportunity. Maybe after a staff meeting, you want to make sure everybody listened. You could create a quiz, send it out to everybody, and make sure that they got the details of what you're trying to share with them. But across the top here, you'll see 3 sections. My forms. These are forms that are in my individual Office 365 account. I can share those forms with other people. I can send those forms out to other people, but the results and the answers will come back to me. I have a shared with me section. So if somebody else in my organization has created a form and shared it to me, I would see it here. Nobody has done that for me, so I don't have any forms shared with me here. And then under group forms, these are forms that you can create in the various Office 365 groups that you're in, and I'll jump into that in a minute and show you that. But I've gone ahead for this demonstration and set up a lunch sign-up form. It's a really simple form, but I just wanted to kind of show you a couple of things that you can do in the form, and due to time, I went ahead and set it up before. But as you can see, it's a simple form. I've applied a theme to it to give it some color. Maybe I don't like balloons. I'd rather have you know, this desktop theme. You can upload your own photos and things like that, or change a color to match your organization's coloring scheme there as well. And on each question, so I've added these questions already, but if I just click on the section here, I can edit it. Maybe you know, I want to change the wording of this lunch sign up, you know, menu selections or something like that. Just to let people know what it is, I could add a picture. Maybe that'd be a Bing slide, or you know, search, or something from my OneDrive or SharePoint. But I can add questions, and I can rearrange these questions. So if I click on, you know, first name, maybe I want to start with last name first. So I can just use this little up and down arrow to move it around, or delete the question, or duplicate the question. And I've got a couple of options of whether I want to make a long answer box available, or make the question required. Those kinds of things that I can do. Simple editing. And I've put a few different types of questions in this form. So I've got, you know, text answer questions. I've got selection questions. So these are either or types of questions, these radio buttons. I've got a Likert chart, which allows me to put, say, several options in a matrix, and then maybe a rating question. But I've also set this particular questionnaire up with branching. So if I click on the branching options, you can see that I've put on each question what happens next based on the answer. And I've given down here on my main course option, I've decided that my lunch is a sandwich or soup option. You know, get a sandwich and a soup. We're on a budget here. So I'm gonna set it so that if you choose sandwich, it's gonna move you to the next question of sandwich type. And if you choose soup, it's gonna move you to the next question of soup choice. And then on the sandwich type, I'm gonna ask you some condiment options. So my next question on sandwich type moves to condiment options, and after I choose my condiment options, I'm gonna move on to rate the choices, and you know, let people give some feedback on whether they had enough choice. If they'd chosen soup, it would move them on down here, skip to that question of soup choice, which is just going to carry on to the final question. Obviously, I could have more questions than that. I could do more options with branching, but I just wanted to give you guys a quick high-level overview of that. Under settings, I also have some settings here where I can set some options. Do I want to turn off the acceptance of responses? Do I want it to send an email to people that respond, or send me an email that I've got a notification? We're gonna do some examples of some other notification later. But if I just want to get a notification every time somebody responds in my email box, I can click that button. And then once I've created that form, I can share it. So I can send and collect responses, and just like in most everything in Office 365, when I share, I can decide how I want this link to work, whether I only want people in my organization to be able to respond, or if I want it to be more public. And then it'll create a link. I can also create a QR code. So it'll make a QR code that I can download and paste, you know, put on a poster or something like that, or embed in an email. I've got an embed code that I could put in, say, a web page, or as we get later into Sway, I could embed that form directly into Sway, or I can create an email and send that out. It's going to open Outlook and give me a message, again with that link that we looked at earlier. And I can also share it to collaborate. So let's say Ellie and Caroline and I are working on a form together, and I want them to have a link where they can go in and actually add questions and change the wording and things like that. Or maybe I want to make a template that other people can use. So there's some options there. And then if I click preview, I can actually answer this one. This preview form is actually live. And so if I answer it, we'll come back to that in a little bit in a future example. And then I can see what it will look like to people when they open it on a mobile phone. If I click on responses, I can see people's responses to the form, and I can open that in Excel and get a spreadsheet from Excel of my responses. I can delete my responses and start over. As you can see, I've been testing with it, so I've got some responses. Maybe once I finish testing, I delete it, print a summary, or create a summary link. So maybe I just want to share the results with some of my coworkers. I could create that summary link. So that'll give you a quick idea of forms, and we'll come back to that in a little bit on our discussion of flow. So if you have questions on forms that you want to address later, then drop those in the comments, and we'll come back to them in a bit. So I'm going to keep moving on into our discussion of Stream. So Microsoft Stream is really a video repository for internal members of your staff. So it's not available to people that aren't in your organization in Office 365. Even if they have Office 365 in their organization, if they're external, then that's not really what Stream is designed for. But it's a great place for, say, training videos or culture videos or other videos from staff meetings and things like that you might have that you want to share back to other people. So at Enable, we use it a lot. When we do these webinars, we post all the webinars back into our own Stream site. When we do internal lunch and learns, there's a lunch and learn following this meeting for all of our people that we're going to be doing to help everybody learn something new internally. And since most of our staff are out serving people, it's hard for them to jump into that in real time. So we'll post it up into Stream. But it has some really neat features that I'll look forward to showing you in a minute. We can transcribe videos into searchable text, so you can jump straight to that spot in the video and find it. It does some facial recognition to see who's talking in a video and make and track that. And so I'm going to jump on into this and give you a quick example. But the scenario that I think is probably most likely is usually these internal training meetings that you might want to share with other people inside your staff. So let me jump over to Stream. You can get to Stream by going to web.microsoftstream.com. I'm jumping straight into the main page of Stream here, and you'll see right across the top they've already got some videos here with how to use Stream. So in a lot of these products, there's some tutorials built right in. But I've already created a channel. I went here and created a channel. So a channel is just a way to organize your videos so that your content goes together. So you'll see in our Enable channels, we've got a CITN 2018. That's the Church IT Network 2018, and we put a bunch of the videos from that event into a channel. We've got some training videos, about 25 different videos that have been from our lunch and learns and other internal training things, and client training videos that have been things that we've shared with clients before and posted them to their Stream. And then we've got some webinars that we've put up in here. So if I go to my content, I can go see my channels. These are channels that I've created, and I've created one called Webinar Demo Channel. And you'll see I've already posted a video here, but I just want to show you real quick how easy it is to drop a new video into a Stream. So you'll see right here in the top, it says drag more files anywhere or select more files to upload. So if I click select more files, it open an Explorer window, but I've already got one. Here's a video I recorded yesterday. And if I just drag it onto this screen, it's going to go ahead and start uploading. And I can give it a name, I can give it a description. I'm not going to worry with that right now. Right now, it's just taking the name from the file name itself, and you can see it's uploading that video right now. And it's giving me a little status of how it's doing with that. And I can set some permissions. I can decide, is this is this a company-wide video that I want to share? Do I want to take away company-wide? Maybe I only want a small group of people, maybe the team of pastors or the team of administrative staff to be able to access something. And then if I click share, I can send them a link to it. So now that it's been uploaded, it has finished uploading, so I can publish that video. So if I'm going to click publish now, and I do also have some other options, by the way. I can set whether I want it to do that timeline of people, and I'll show you that in a minute. Whether I want it to allow comments, and whether I want it to have some captions. But I'm going to hit publish now, and once it's done publishing now, I can go back to my my channel. So the upload is completed. I'm going to click this link to go back to my videos. And I'm going to click on channels and choose my webinar channel here again. So you can see my webinar demo is here. I put this up yesterday so that it could be done with processing. And you'll see on the right-hand side, it's transcribed my video. So if I let it transcribe, it's really cool. You can see it's actually got a timestamp by this. And if I go search, maybe for where I said track, it'll find everywhere I said the word track. And you see it's got that word track right here at 15 seconds. And if I click on that, it'll actually jump. It'll actually jump directly to the point in the video where I said that. So if you've got a long staff meeting and you're looking for where somebody started talking about policy or what's coming up next week and planning, you can jump straight to that without having to watch the whole thing and scroll back and forth. But down here on the bottom, I can see details. There's a little bit of it. This is what I put in when I loaded that video in terms of a description. You can see where there's comments. People can comment on it and ask a question, that kind of thing, and post it. So, a little bit like YouTube or any other thing. I can add it to a watch list to watch later. I can mark it as liked. Some of that kind of social media stuff. My little ellipses, like I always have in various places in Office 365, gives me some other options. Maybe I came back and recorded a better copy of the video, or edited out all my sneezes or something like that, and I want to replace the video. I could come back and do that. But if you look here, click on people, and what it's done is if there's multiple faces in the video, it'll see who's talking, and it'll actually do a timeline. Now, this little video I recorded just has me, and it just has me talking the whole time. So you see one single timeline lane here. But if you had multiple people talking, you'd see different faces. It doesn't know it's me. It's not going to make that recognition, but it does know it's that person talking from the video. From here, I can also click share again. So maybe I want to share this with some other people, and it'll give me a link to share. I can copy that into an email. I could copy that into a website. I could copy it into a Teams thread. So there's some different things we can do with that. I can also make that link start at a certain point. So maybe I just wanted to send somebody a link that takes them directly to a certain point in the video. So that'll give you a little bit of an idea of Stream. What can I do with that? I can embed those in a SharePoint team site. So maybe I've got an announcements section in my team site where I post everything that's going on around the church that the staff needs to be aware of. Hey, here's the video on how to file your expense reports in 2020. You need to watch this. Or hey, here's the video from the staff meeting, whatever you got there. I can also put it in a team thread. I can also email it. I could post it in other website places that the staff can get to. So hopefully that helps you go there. Again, if you've got questions on that, drop them into the chat. So the next couple that we're going to jump into, and man, I apologize. I feel like I am just blowing through these things and giving you just a virtual fire hose of information. We might have thrown a few too many extras into 1 hour, but we'll give it a shot here. These are a little bit more advanced, but I want to let you know they exist and what they do. We're going to cover Sway and Power BI and Flow. So what's Sway? Sway is a simple, free storytelling tool. Some people like to call it the millennial version of PowerPoint. Think of it a little bit less like a blank canvas and more like PowerPoint on rails a little bit. So PowerPoint, of course, gives you, a blank canvas. You can design your slides however you want. You've got a lot of customizability in, say, transitions and automating buttons that pop up and things that fly in and all of that kind of design stuff. Sway is more of a quick and dirty presentation tool, but it's really simple. It's really easy to use. It's web-based. It's shareable. You can send people a link that they can open up without actually having to have a license or even an Office 365 account. And I'm going to show you how we can import from a document, and it'll automatically format it and create a document really quickly and easily. It's also got a mobile view, so if people are wanting to look at it on your phone, it's really simple. So you jump into it. Again, sway.office.com, or go to your little launcher here and find it under all apps. Usually it'll probably show up low enough in your priority list that you'll have to click that show all apps. I can create a new blank Sway. I'm going to start from a document. So if I click on start from a document and I go and I can choose where I want to pick a document, I'm actually going to pick a PDF. So I could pick a PDF, I could pick a Word document, I could use a PowerPoint that I've already built that I just want to make a simple version of, but I'm just going to choose this features and benefit page. This is from back when we used to be called Solarant. So, but it's automatically going to process that PDF and convert it into a Sway document in 10 or 15 seconds. And it's already applied some kind of generic formatting, but reasonably attractive. And as you can see, it's just a scroll down thing. It's got a little bit of animation on it. So when I scroll into the headers, they kind of slide in. But maybe I don't really love the way that header. I can click on edit here, and you'll see these two tabs here, storyline and design. So storyline is where you build each of the segments of your Sway presentation. You can see I've kind of got a header card here, and then a little text card, and then a description card with a heading, and a text card. And I could apply a background to that. It might actually, find some things from the internet. Maybe I want some mountains behind this thing, and I just search and find a mountain. I'll add it just for fun. But I can also click over here on design and apply some styles to it. So if I click on styles in the top right-hand corner, maybe instead of these blue bars, I'd rather have something with a little bit more texture behind it. And so I might choose this one that's got some mountains or maybe a different color scheme. And hit remix and see what we get. Okay, well, it chose this red one. Remix is just kind of an automated, figure something out and go there. So I've made a change, and we'll see kind of what comes of that. So it's it's added these different pictures from their stock photo thing, and you've got some room to design that on your own. I'm not going to get too deep into that, but then if I wanted to play it, I can play it. It'll sort of kick me back into that play view where I can just scroll through, and then I can share it. So here's the share button, just like in all Office 365 applications. I can choose who I want to share it with. Do I want it just people in my organization? Do I just want to share it with certain people? Do I want it to be anyone with the link? Maybe I want it to be anyone and I want to drop it in my Twitter or a LinkedIn, or just get a code, get a visual link, those kind of things that you want to build. So that's Sway in a nutshell. I am going to kick back over to my slide deck here and move on to Power BI. So Power BI is a really great tool that Microsoft has really been putting a lot of lead behind the pencil in over the past few years. It's a set of tools to visualize and analyze data. Great scenarios for that are in being able to look at your attendance and giving and changes in engagement trends, dashboarding for, say, your board of directors or deacons and elders, those kinds of governing bodies that you want to give a very high level update to. Maybe the executive team and directors need to see kind of what's going on, but it's very flexible and can bring data in from a variety of sources, whether that's via an API connection, an application programming interface connection to your church management software, or just a CSV or an Excel file that you've exported from church management software, or maybe you're trying to look at some data from Google Analytics and maybe your web streaming, your video streaming source, or your website. Maybe you've got some other data that's coming from other places. You can bring those things in, you can mash them up together and things like that. It does get a little bit more advanced, and sometimes may be worth hiring a consultant to help you with building out, especially those integrations with other applications like church management and streaming and things like that to set up the integration. There are two versions. There's a free version. And I'm going to be working in the tool that's free, the downloaded Power BI desktop app. There's also a licensed version, Power BI Pro. It runs about $3 per user a month in nonprofits. If you don't have a nonprofit, then it's about $12 a month per user. The biggest thing that adds is some ability to collaborate and to share real-time visualizations and reports with other people. In the free version, you've got some options to kind of publish more on a periodic basis. And I won't get too deep into the bits and pieces of that with you today. It's just it's more complicated than I have time to get into. But here's a view of a Power BI dashboard that I've created, noodling around, and this has some basic things. So you've got kind of a basic measure. This is all the donations received in this given year. This is the last week's donations. I haven't updated the data in a couple of weeks, so last week is blank because I haven't got anything there yet. But over the last 365 days, what was the average donation amount? And I've set this setting for each individual donation. So every time somebody wrote a check or gave me a credit card, what was that average amount? But you'll see I've got some other points here. I've got a filtering selection based on programs that people have been involved in. I've got a breakdown of contacts by gender, and this is all of the contacts in the database, not just those who are active. Total contacts by age. So this is not adjusted to when they were active. This is all contacts at this particular organization, but you'll see, I've got, if I hover over, say, age 40, I've got 713 total contact IDs of people who were age 40 at this time. Now, they may have been active when they were 30, but based on the birthday information we have, that's where it's showing up. So that's where it can get a little bit complicated, and you might need somebody that is a Power BI expert that can help you with some of the validation rules to say, hey, I only want to see people who are active and some of those filters. But one of the things that's really cool is I can click on any of these bars in here, and it'll automatically filter things. So let's say I wanted to see all of the things on this page based on who gave me only those people that gave me a credit card in 2019. And if I click on that, it'll actually filter down to credit card gifts in 2019. And I can see that 2 million of our donations were via credit card in 2019, the average gift via credit card was $264 versus, say, gifts via check, which were $300, and then what the kind of the average donations in that period were. So you can see that filtering happens automatically. And I've got a lot of different ways I can look at things. I can look at them in more of a graph, and this is a program attendance by age graph. I've got a comparison of donations by year. to attendance by year or unique attendees by year, a kind of running comparison of donations year over year. So there's a lot there, and as you can see in this right hand, I can change these views. So maybe I want to see this in more of a stacked area chart. I can just click that button, and well, that one's maybe not a great example. Let's see if I wanted to see it in a waterfall chart. That might give me a different view. And not every visualization really applies to every type of data. So sometimes you just kind of have to play with what's the best way to view it that communicates what you're trying to communicate and answers the kinds of questions you're looking for. And then on the right are all the fields that are available to me to display in that graph. So in this one, I've got the donation amount and the donation date as the two fields that I'm analyzing here. So really accessible way to deal with the data. And like I say, I can pull those from a number of sources. In this case, this particular Power BI set actually is built from CSV files that we dumped out of this church's church management system. But we've also got some use cases where the church spent a little extra money on consulting and had someone actually develop real-time integration with their church management software. So any questions you have about that, drop in the comments. We'll come back to it. And then finally, here we're going to move into Flow. So what is Flow? Flow is actually now called Power Automate. About a week ago at the Big Ignite conference that I mentioned earlier, Microsoft renamed it. And I think Power Automate actually kind of goes with the branding of Power BI and another application they've got called Power Apps and some things like that. But it's a tool to use to automate different things. If you're familiar with if this then that, this is sort of Microsoft's answer to that. But if we jump over to my browser and I open up Flow, you'll see that what we've got is a number of things that we can basically say, hey, here's a trigger. I want an automated action to happen based on a trigger, and then do something. But there's several other ways that we can use a flow. You see here, automated flows are triggered. Instant flows are things. Maybe I just want to create a button on my app in Power Automate. I can download the app to my phone, and anytime I hit that button, it does a thing. Maybe it is as simple as I hit a button and it reminds me to do something, or it emails somebody a notification. So I can create a button to do repetitive tasks that I need to do. A scheduled flow could run, say, every Monday at 9 and go collect some data and turn that data into an email and send it to somebody. And then these business process flows would allow you, say, to set up some steps that somebody walks through. But there's 3 ways to make a flow. You can start from a blank flow. You can start from a template. So there's hundreds of templates that people have created to do certain things that you can basically modify what it's doing. As you can see here, there's one, this first one is save an Office 365 email attachment to OneDrive for Business. So let's say maybe for whatever reason, I want every time I get an email that has an attachment, I want to save that attachment to my OneDrive folder for attached files or something. Or maybe I want to put some criteria on that every time someone that works with me on a certain project sends me something, that it saves that document there. Maybe there's a DocuSign that sends me a copy of a contract every time I sign a contract, and I want those to always get sent to OneDrive. Those would be some maybe examples of where I might use something like that. But there's a ton of those, and then you can also start from a connector. You can say, hey, I want to start a flow that goes from Office 365 email or from something that happens on Twitter or an RSS feed. But I'm just going to set a simple flow here and show you how this works. I'm going to start with an automated flow that is anytime someone submits a new form. So we've showed you that lunch form. Let's see if I can get this to work. So we've got this lunch form. And anytime someone submits a new form, so we've showed you that lunch form that is anytime someone submits a new form. So anytime someone submits a new form, that is 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 anytime someone submits and I want to make a notification. So I showed you in there that we can actually set the form to notify the creator of the form that there's been a submission. But let's say I created the form, but I want to share it, and I want to let Ellie know every time someone has responded to it. So I'm going to set a new response to my form. I'm going to hit create. And what it's going to go out and do, it's going to look up all the forms I have access to. And you see, here's that form I created earlier called lunch sign up form. And I'm going to hit menu selections. And then I'm going to click new step. And so I can choose an action that I want it to do. So I'm going to choose the connector Office 365 Outlook. But as you can see, I've got some other things I could use here. I could say, hey, the action I want it to take is I want it to add a line to another Excel spreadsheet anytime somebody fills out that form, or I want it to delete a row of an Excel spreadsheet every time someone does something on it. Maybe I've got a form that is to, remove somebody from a list or something, and anytime HR fills out that form to remove somebody from the HR subcommittee, it removes them from something. But I'm going to choose this Office 365 option, and you can see I have a bunch of actions I can do here. I could create a contact, I could create an event, I could delete an email, but I'm going to choose one to send an email. And the subject of my email is going to be someone filled out the form. And you know what, I forgot to put an email address. I'm going to put Ellie here. Yay for Ellie. And maybe someone has requested lunch. I could get a little bit more involved here, and with a few extra steps, I could probably put the results of their form into the email, do that kind of thing. But before I save it, I'm gonna hit save here. That's just saving my work. But I can hit this flow checker and see if it has any errors. It doesn't. That's great. And I can hit save. The one thing, I'm going to add me just so that I can show you guys what it does. I'm going to hit me again. I'm going to hit save again, so I can send it to multiple people, and then I'm going to hit save up here in the top right-hand corner, and that'll save my form. And then this back button will take me back to my list of forms, or back to my detail on this form. So I've set up that flow. Now let's go back to my form. So here's my form. I'm going to hit this preview button, and I'm going to fill it out. And I'm going to say, here's my name, and fill it out. And you'll see I'm going to choose my sandwich here. It's going to move me down to the sandwich type. I choose roast beef. I want some light mayo and some pickles, and I think these are okay choices. And I'm going to hit submit. And so my response has been submitted. And I don't have Outlook open just yet, but I'm going to go ahead and open Outlook and move over. And here we have already someone has requested lunch. Here's my form response. So you can see that happened almost in real time as I hit the form. So that's that last scenario of forms. And I got one bonus for you is Khazela. It is actually one of the newest things that Microsoft has released. They've had it in beta for a while. It's sort of an extension to Teams. It's a secure messaging and work management app. It's sort of like instant messaging for people outside of your organization. So you can include external users, internal users. It's sort of a GroupMe for organizations. And I think we're going to see a lot of benefit to churches in this, as staff need to communicate and collaborate with non-staff members, say volunteer and lay leaders. We may see some good applications there. So that's new. It's one to keep an eye on. We're not playing with it yet, really, and I haven't got a lot of information to share with you on it. But it'll be in your apps if it's been added, and you can go see some videos that kind of tell you a little bit about it and how to use it right on the Khazela homepage. So Again, I'm not going to get too deep into it today, just for time's sake. So I think we can open up for questions now.
Perfect. Thanks, Elliot, and thanks for putting me on the form. I can't wait to get everyone's responses and see what they want for lunch.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, if you'll place that order before lunchtime, that'd be awesome. Getting hungry. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it.
Exactly. Okay. We did get a couple questions, and so the first one we have is from Danny. He asked, "What is the difference between Forms and Forms Pro?"
So Forms Pro has a few extra options. I reviewed it a while back, and honestly, I have to say I haven't really dug into it because I don't think it's things that most people really need. But certainly would be something we can follow up on.
Okay, cool. Another one that we have, it says, "Can you download your Sway presentation into your downloads and save it onto your computer?"
I don't think so. I think it's really a web-based tool. I have not seen any options to actually download this way.
Okay, cool. And then just one more. Did you say that Power BI is an online tool, or is it an application you have to download?
It's both. So the free version really is primarily focused on the application. It's a Windows-based app. So sorry, Mac guys, can't download onto your Mac. There are some things you can do in the web version for free. The primary place that you're going to share and collaborate is in the website. So when you're creating something that you're going to collaborate on, you're going to end up publishing it into a shared workspace or an app workspace in the web version. Mm-hmm. And then there's a lot that it's integrated with other things. So kind of advanced usage would be, you build some Power BI dashboards or reports, and you want to embed them, say, in a SharePoint site or into Teams. You can even embed some of those things into PowerPoints and things like that. But it kind of expands out from there. There's some enhanced licensing around Power BI Premium and Embedded that really apply more to enterprises that are baking it into other solutions. So, for example, an application developer maybe making a church management software package could say, hey, we want Power BI to be the engine that drives our reporting. They could license, and it's very expensive. They could license the Power BI embedded licensing and in premium and kind of bake that into their application. But I don't see a lot of churches having need for those extended licenses. That may be a little more answer than you were looking for.
Great. Thank you. That's perfect. Well, if we get any more by the time we wrap up, we can get to those. And if you do have any other questions after this webinar, our email is, well, Elliot, if you mind going to the next slide.
Sure, yeah.
Perfect. So feel free just to reach out to us if you have any other questions. We also want to tell you about our upcoming webinar in December. Is going to be a webinar on the technology checklist for a busy Sunday. So we know with the holidays coming up, your attendance spikes, and so we want to make sure you guys are prepared. So Andy Bullington is our strategy consultant. He'll be leading us in that one. And then just be sure to check out our upcoming as well as our previous webinars at that link right there. So yeah, Danny just asked, where are they? You can get them enableministry.com/webinars. That has all of the previous recordings, and you will receive a recording of today's webinar in your inbox tomorrow. So we're going to kind of put all that together for you guys, and so you'll get an email with that tomorrow. So if we don't have any other questions, Elliot, just wanted to thank you again. Thank you for preparing all that for us. I learned a lot and excited just to know what tools are in our toolbox.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for joining.
Yes. Thanks everyone. Have a great day.